Hello everybody and welcome back to the second shelf. It's Sunday today, but there will be no Books Weekly. Today I'm very sorry because I'm traveling this week. But because I thought you probably miss me terribly, I will pre-film a review video, one in my series 2-in-1 book review, so that you at least have something to watch on Sunday. And for those of you who are new or maybe you don't remember, the 2-in-1 book review is a series that I started last year in which I always compare two books with a similar theme or a similar trope, and one I think was good and one I think was not so good. And this time it's two memoirs and both are about difficult friendships. And the first of the two books is a memoir by Ann Patchett, Truth and Beauty, published in 2004. I've talked about Ann Patchett before on this channel. I read her book A State of Wonder recently. I didn't much like it, but I've read nonfiction by Ann Patchett before, which I really liked. So she's not an author that I dismiss right off the bat. But I really thoroughly disliked Truth and Beauty, I have to admit. The friendship between Ann Patchett and the poet Lucy Grayley, an Irish-American poet, same age as Ann Patchett, and Lucy had a jawbone cancer when she was very young, a serious disfigurement in her face due to operations. She had many operations in her life. Due to the cancer and the problems with her jaw. She got addicted to painkillers, and finally in 2002 she died from a heroin overdose. And Ann Patchett wrote the memoir, I think a year later, because it was published only 2 years after Lucy's death. And although, as I said earlier, Ann Patchett can certainly really write. She knows her craft, she knows how to write. My problem with the book was that the way Ann Patchett described the friendship, and especially Lucy, there was this, on Goodreads I called it a passive-aggressive praise, because Ann Patchett praises Lucy continuously throughout the book, what a wonderful person she is, what a fantastic writer. She does everything better than Anne. So she, in that praise, Ann Patchett always heightens Lucy and puts herself down. But coming with that praise are continuous needle pricks, tiny pricks, needles that make it clear in the end that Lucy is the loser and Ann Patchett is the real deal. And I think the problem with the book is that, in my view, because there are many people who love the book, so it's just my, of course, subjective opinion, but my conclusion was that Ann Patchett was not ready yet to write that memoir, that she didn't have enough distance to the friend she lost, because she obviously loved Lucy, that there was probably repressed anger because of the way the friendship developed and because of Lucy's death, and Ann Patchett could not yet deal with that, and the outcome for me was something that really rubbed me completely the wrong way, and I've got, my hairs in my neck that really stood up, because I hated the way that Lucy was praised, and at the same time all those pricks, little pricks, needle pricks, telling me that Lucy was not such a good person, not the beautiful person the way she was described. So I thought, yeah, it was a shame, because it's an interesting topic, and Lucy Grayley was a very interesting person, and it could have been a good book, but for me it just didn't work. And the second memoir deals with a similar theme, a sick friend, and the ways you deal with that, and that's Helen Garner, The Spare Room. I talked about Helen Garner also before. I read her nonfiction book, This House of Grief, about an Australian murder trial. I liked the book, although I had some reservations. And in this memoir, The Spare Room, we have Helen Garner and one of her best friends, Nicola, who suffers from cancer and stays in the spare room, hence the title of Helen Garner's House, while she undergoes treatment. Most of the time it's not the regular kind of treatment, but because Nicola has her own idea of how to deal with the cancer. And this book just does everything that I missed in Anne Patchett's Truth and Beauty. It's a beautifully written, tender, often very funny memoir, quite raw and honest I thought, how you deal with a friend who is sick, who lives in your house, who doesn't want to hear your advice, who goes to, you know, alternative medicine treatments which you don't believe in. How much do you have to give up of your own life in order to help your friend, and how do you deal with your friend's death? And I thought it was just a really beautiful, tender memoir about a difficult friendship, and it didn't shy away from the difficulties, meaning that not all was well with the living together and with the way Nicola dealt with her cancer. So, but still, you could feel how much Helen Garner loved her friend, and the tiny little book. It's more a, yeah, as a novel you would say a novella. It's not even 200 pages, but it captured the atmosphere, it captured the friendship, and I thought it was beautiful. So those two books with similar themes, one I really liked, the other one I didn't. Let me know if you read any of the two, and whether you agree with me or not, especially, of course, with Anne Patchett's book, because, as I said, a lot of people really loved Truth and Beauty. And I also want to mention, if you are interested in memoirs like I am, I will link a couple of videos down in the description box done by Ashley from Climb the Stacks, who's a fantastic booktuber who unfortunately doesn't have the time anymore to make videos, because she hasn't posted in, I think, half a year or something. But her older videos are still there, and she read a lot of memoirs. Memoirs are one of her favorite genres, and she made a list of recommendations and memoirs by women. So if you like memoirs, then those videos are certainly worth checking out. So this was it for my 2-in-1 book review, this time about difficult friendships. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and as I said, leave comments down below if you read any of the books, or if you read any other memoir within this theme that you want to talk about, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.